Crafty friends, it's Diane, the Creative Inkster, and today is Monday, September 18th. I hope you've been having a wonderful start to your week. This is our creative escape where at the moment, I'm taking cards that I made some time ago or received as swap cards, and I'm changing them up with some new products. So we're kind of taking advantage of the things that I like and have done before and changing them all up. So this one, I don't remember the stamp, but I feel like this greeting comes from something that had leaves. I do remember this beautiful paper. This is foil, so silver foil to pick up the silvers in this piece. And then the dragonfly, which we still have available and which is great done in a solid color. So this is the one I'm going to copy tonight. And I'm going to pull in some other products. So if you're there watching live, let me know you're along for the ride. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're watching it on the replay, I love to know that you've been checking it out and seeing what you can learn from it. Love your comments. Keeps me going, keeps me doing it. Tonight, we're going to play with something I've just got in the mail and I haven't actually played with yet. Pick of the Patch. Hi, Brenda. I have kind of been stepping away from getting a lot of Halloween type sets. I usually get one a year, and this one I love because it has a coordinating pumpkin punch. And I know some brilliant person out there is going to come up with other things to do with these pumpkin shapes, and I'm just going to learn from them. So Pick of the Patch is the stamp set, and I'm going to pull in these colors here, which are Moody Mauve and Pecan Pie, basically, I would say, is the color in there. And this is from the All About Autumn paper, which unfortunately is on back order at the moment. I believe it's back in stock first week of October. And so you want to get it because it's beautiful. It's really stunning. So let's put this stuff aside and get some pieces in here. We have a hard ending for tonight because hard stop at 7:30 because I've got bridge night. So I got to switch over to my other hat and get going there. So I'm going to cut this in half, and I can't recall exactly the dimensions I gave you, but I'm going to make this at 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 by 11, and then I'll score it in half on this long side at 5 1/2. So that's just going to give me my standard tent fold card base. And then I want to replicate what's in this card, and that is the same color on a layer. So I'm going to cut what I've got left over to 5 1/4 and down to 4 inches. So this will be a nice little layer on the inside. Now I could definitely make it smaller as well, and that would work just fine. While I'm here, I'm going to cut some more stuff. I'm going to cut my inside layer, which is 5 1/4 by 4 in white. I'm going to do 2 of them because I want them for both of the cards I'm doing tonight. So we'll cut one at 4, which we need here, and one while we're at it, and we'll set it aside. Do you ever cut your paper ahead of time? I find it's a great time saver. I'm really enjoying doing that. Something that I've started doing is keeping some 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch pieces of paper handy so that I'm ready to go. So on my second card I'm going to do with you, I'm going to do the same thing, only this time I'm going to use Old Olive. So I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4, flip it around, and score it at 5 1/2. All right, so there's my next card base, super done, all ready for the next. And then it's going to have a matching a layer as well at 4 by 5 1/4. So I'll cut the 5 1/4 first. Then I have the most amount of this leftover piece to use on something else. And we don't waste as much paper. So all the waste basically I have is this piece. But I'm going to use these pieces up. That's the plan. Okay, so let's tuck those aside, ready for the next one. So that's all the cutting for now. And we are going to emboss before we go any further. So let's clear the deck so we have a little bit more space here. How was your weekend? Did you have a nice one? I was away out of town visiting with my daughter, son-in-law, and grandson. We had some fun together and just hanging out, playing Pandemic Legacy, and the older ones went to a comedy show Just had to grab my one plate for embossing. They went to a comedy show out of town, so I was looking after the little guy. That was fun. So I picked Leaf Fall, which has a bunch of leaves but some open space over here, and that's what I'm going to use as my embossed layer, because this is fairly new and I don't use it very often, or haven't used it very often. It's new to me. It was not new in the line. All right, so I'm going to stick it inside stick my Moody Mauve inside, and then run this through the cut and emboss machine. And we're going to use pumpkins on this one in very non-traditional pumpkin colors. So we've got our emboss layer for that. And while we have embossing things out, I'm going to do the other pieces for the second card. So jumping around a bit, but I just want to get these pieces all done while everything is handy. So this is called Exposed Brick, and it is a lovely embossing folder with the brick pattern, but it has lots of other sort of scratchy pieces that makes it look like exposed brick, and as the name suggests, and it's just like a little bit more texture to it that way rather than just straight on bricks. All right, so we've got that done. We'll tuck that aside for after, and then I'm also going to need this afterwards on that second card, but let's just move it out of the way for now. Okie dokie. So we've got our card base, and we're going to fold it in half and burnish it, and we have a piece of white to go on the inside. Grab my liquid glue. Okay, should have gone easier. There we go. It's getting to feel like fall out there now. Holy smokes. Cool evenings, leaves are changing. It is beautiful. I love this time of year. It's great for walking, and it's great for sitting outside enjoying your tea or your coffee, whatever hot beverage you like. Do you remember I cut a little waste piece off? Well, this is the piece I have left over. So it is 5 1/4 by 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to add it here. I could put 2 of them. Maybe I'll do that on the next card. So I'm just going to add it here. So I'm going to cut it down a bit. I'm eyeballing it, folks. There's nothing fancy happening here. I could stick it in the paper trimmer and cut it at 4, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable with a simple cut. No garbage there. Let's add a little wee bit of glue to hold it in place. And that's using up some of our scraps. And we'll do something different with the green, the old olive. If you have more scraps, you could put a couple up like that. Just a way to decorate the inside of your card without patterned paper. All right, this is going to glue directly down, so we don't need to pop this up at all. I love an embossed layer. It looks so pretty. Just adds a little something. My ladies that I teach in Breslau at our monthly card class, they are big on the embossing, the dry embossing with folders. I couldn't bring enough folders for them to choose from. They just love it. So this is a tone-on-tone layout. So you've got your card base and your embossed layer exactly the same color of Moody Mauve or mauve. We don't call it that here in Canada. All right, so then your pattern pieces are 2 by 4 for this piece, the larger piece that has, in this case, some gold elements to it. And then this leaf piece is 1 3/4 by 3. And you're just going to layer them on the front like that. Super simple. Oh, these are the backs of each piece. Okay, so there you go. I could have done it either way. You know what? Having said that, I kind of like it this way. I think that's what I'm going to do. Happy accident when it works out that way. So let's add some liquid glue to that. And we'll put them there. I kind of have the idea that the leaves are mostly going up and down. No real particular spacing for where it's going to be glued down. You kind of just go with what feels right at the time. go, leaving a little bit of an edge out on the embossing. All right, so now we're going to do the not exactly traditional looking stuff. So let's get this new stamp set out with a punch, and I was going to do at least one, maybe two of the pumpkins, because there are two pumpkins in the punch. So, a couple things. When you get a photopolymer stamp, I just peeled off the backing piece. It's rather flimsy. It's not really strong. I'm sure somebody uses it for craft pieces. I just throw it out. And then you've got this piece here, but with our newer photopolymer stamps, or more current photopolymer stamps, you just peel these off and place them on the sheet that's on the inside of your stamp case. And then this is a fairly thick piece of window sheet, and you can repurpose that for a shaker card or a window card in some fashion. I'm first going to just grab the ones I need tonight, and we're going to double check. But yes, that's the one that fits in there. And I'm going to do one in pecan pie, but I think it's going to be stamped off. Let's just see how dark that comes down. Oh yeah, it's pretty dark. So we're going to get a piece of scrap here. And then we'll just stamp this and see how that looks. Oh, whoopsie. Well, that's pretty light, but I like it. I think this would be too dark in the pecan pie, so I'm kind of glad that I went a little bit lighter. And it jumped out of my hand, but that was okay. It didn't make a mess or anything like that. And then also on this, there's the little flower here. Or maybe that's part of, oh, that's part of the leaf. And then the little, I don't know what it's called. There's a special word for the top of pumpkins, like the piece that you aren't supposed to hold because it'll break off. But we've got that piece to stamp as well. So let's find that piece on the sheet. I'm going to do the other one in pink. So we'll do this. And then just as I go, I'm going to place them down inside my stamp case so that they're being put away. This one maybe I'll do full strength, and just for some contrast in color. Okay, so let's punch this guy out. I need to go for this one first. There we go. We're going to need another piece, that's okay. There's that little piece there. And then I'll punch this, oops, pumpkin out. So yeah, I guess this brownish color is somewhat traditional. I was thinking once I get into the pinks, I'll be using a very non-traditional colored pumpkin. Okay, and I'm not sure I like the stamped look of that, so I'm just going to grab a piece of pecan pie that's right beside me here, some scrap, and I'm going to punch out the little top piece. I'm going to glue that together. I think I like that a little bit better. Oh, now look at that. So that dried. When it dried, it lightened up quite a bit. I still kind of like this one, so I'm going to go with this one. All right, so I'll put a little glue dot at the back. Nope, no glue dots there. We'll put a little bit of seal at the back. That works the same way. And we'll put our little top piece to our pumpkin like that. We're going to pop this up on dimensional. So here's a trick for you. When you have your dimensionals and you're putting small pieces together, if you don't have a glue dot or something to adhere that with, hi Kim, go ahead and take your dimensionals and put that right over where the pieces meet. And that's going to help hold them in place. Right, so there's one ready to go down on paper, and then we will do the other pumpkin. So that is this guy. Brand new set for me, so I'm experiencing, and you're experiencing me learning it as we go. And this time we're going to go, but we're keeping that ink out because we're going to do the greeting in pumpkin pie. I'm going to use Moody Mauve. Now, should have done this on the first one, but I like to use the Stampin' Pierce mat so that I get really nice coverage. And one thing you'll find when you have a punch and you've got them on there in different, so they're not perfectly up and down like here, you might want to stamp it so that when you slide it in, you're not wasting a lot of paper. So if you can see that there, my goal is to kind of put it this way. And using this Stampin' Pierce mat, I'm getting much better coverage from the stamp than if I were to try to just do it on my basic foam placemat, because it's a bit thicker, so it pushes that image back up. So I see I'm not going to waste as much paper this time around. I can learn for sure. Let's close this guy up. And then we will do another one of those brown or pecan pie stems. Is there a fancy word for the stems? I feel like there is. If you know it, put it in the comments. And we will do the same thing. This time I'll actually do it with the Stampin' Dimensional. Just lay it down there and pop that on. Oh, you still had your backing on, you silly, sneaky thing. Put that on there. There we go. And so I'm using, these are the minis, and I'm just using up the edge pieces. They're quite thick on the minis. You get quite a good thickness there for regular size dimensionals. Okay, here we go. So we're ready to put these down. We're going to put 2 pumpkins on this card and a quick greeting. And then I'm going to have to be super quick with my next card to be finished in time. There we go. Let me put that upside down. No, that's the way it goes. There we go. Okay, so now the greeting is going to go on this strip here, a harvest of blessings. Ba-ba-da-ba. And it's still on the sheet. So I think that'll fit nicely. Good. We'll grab my block, rather big one for this, but it works. And then I'm going to just put it down in the center. This piece was just for my scrap bin, so I'm not sure exactly the size. Oh, it is a 1/2 inch. Okay, so it's a 1/2 inch wide across, and just some long piece that I had. Alrighty. It's a peduncle. Oh, thank you. I think I knew that, like, once upon a time, but did not remember. Now, you can do all kinds of things with your ends of your pieces, and I find just cutting them on an angle, moving my scissors over, and doing the same basic angle on the other side is the quickest and easiest. And so if I look at my original one, I had my greeting cover over 2 of the pieces a little bit, and I do actually have some kind of ribbon there, but I'm not putting that on these. So, oh wait, I want this to be sort of a long one. I'll take this piece here. Today was fun. I had my morning class up in Elmira with my friends at the day program at the Elmira Community District Living Group, and we did a wreath, which was super fun and went by very quickly. They were really working quick on their wreaths, and they turned out great. All right, so there's my first card, copying this guy here. So let's do another one real quick. So we've got most of our papers already cut, so we are set to go. We've got our card base in Old Olive. We've got a piece of white to go on the inside. And we're going to use up some of the scrap that came down here. Oh, I was going to do it. Oh, yeah, I was going to do something funky with it. Let's see if we can still do funky, even though I have now put glue on the back of my white. I think we can make that work. I really do. Anyway, so here's our piece that's probably 5 1/4 inches wide, 5 1/2 inches wide. I was going to put like 2 this way, so I think we can make this work. And just be careful when we're cutting, that's all. So I'm going to put a piece like this. Actually, if we pull it right down across the card base, then we can just cut it up against the card base. I was going to try to cut it to the white, but that's okay. All right, and nobody says it can't be this way. And then we'll do another one. Can we get another angle out of this? Oh, we can. Look at that. So I'll put our glue down the center. Just kind of give it a little bit of space in between. Okay. And then you snip. And there we go. Now, had I not put glue on my inner piece, I could have cut it off at the white, but that works just as nicely. Just another way to use it up, you know? All right. Put our tone on tone. So this time, if you remember, it's exposed brick on the old olive to match the old olive card base. And I do like this exposed brick. It's brick, which I do love as an embossing folder, but it's got more to it and way more texture, so pretty nice. All right, and then we've got this time our cardstock, or sorry, our pattern paper. So we've got gold and we've got this here, which has, I couldn't tell if it was gold or copper in it, honestly. It kind of depends on the light, but I'm happy with adding the gold in there. So we're going to just put that down. I'm not going to emboss this one. Could do, but I'm not going to. Got a lot going on here with the colors. And this is a bit darker green, but I think the lightness of the old olive pulls some of the dark of that out a little bit. I'm going to cover up a little bit of this as well, so I'm good with just putting it straight down. So this is just a piece of gold foil. You could use another piece of pattern paper like I did on the last card. And then we have this other stamp set, which I like, Perched in a Tree. Has some beautiful stamped images here, or images you can stamp, but it also has leaves that are variegated. So when you emboss, when you die cut these out, you also get the embossing, so it looks quite nice. And we can put those on here in, let's see, I'm going to grab the, I'm going to use the darker Mossy Meadow for one. Just trying to find a scrap here that's big enough. Is that big enough? Yeah. This one. And then I'll do one in Old Olive. And then we'll have those two coordinating colors together. All right, let's get the emboss and cut machine back in here. Take you over. Here we go. Different plates so we can do the cutting. 1, 2. And we'll see the pretty designs on this. The bird in this is really quite pretty as well. All right. Sorry for the jiggling. That's what happens on my table here. Here's our 2 leaves. Super pretty. You can see the veins on them. It's just gorgeous. They don't need any stamping. They just come beautifully with those. So we can put them just embossed, just like that. So we'll glue one to the other on one side, and then we'll pop the other piece up. And then I'll get these cards up on the page this evening for you to see a little later on, but they'll be there. So here's some gold from this elegant trim. And if you ever want to straighten out, just run it through your fingers straight like that, or with a bone folder. And let's take a little bit more. And then I'm going to wrap around my fingers, use a little bit of tape from the tape runner, the Stamp and Seal. Pop that on the back. just so we get a little bit of color peeking through. All right, and then we'll just pop it up with dimensions that we're using up. So 1, 2, 3. And that will place them here. I have a little treat coming up for you. I'm going to post it on my page. I've joined a group of demonstrators across the world who are doing various different every other month kind of day-long weekend events where you get to see some projects. We show you how to make them. It's going to be for my customers, not everybody's customers, just mine and those that are in this group. And so I will let you know when that's coming out, and you can join the Facebook group. It's free. You get an incentive if you want to purchase something down the road, but it's not necessary. And you get to see the cool stuff that we're doing. So I will let you know about that. So this is No Matter the Season, I'm Here for You. And we'll add that onto here in Old Olive. I'm excited to do my first one with this tutorial group. And that will be in, that was not very straight, it will be in November 3rd and 4th. So stay tuned for details about that opportunity to have your own little, like a private class. It's all online, available for you as my customers. Hello, there we go. I have to invite you to the group, and I'm happy to do that with your order. Okay, we are going to trim this bottom piece off. There we go. And we have a nice greeting to go across here. It's a little bit wider than the last one, and that's okay. And it's, I love the saying in this, no matter the season, I'm here for you. So I feel like this is a really nice sympathy type card. Not that we ever want to have them to send out, but it's good to have them in our stash. Because it does happen from time to time that we have a sympathy card or two to send. All right, there we go. 2 quick cards, copying this original version here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here with me. Love your comments and appreciate you being here. I will see you later. Have a good week. Bye.